All right. Last movie, which I think is the best movie, but honestly, it's almost a tie between that and Harold Fry. And I did not have much expectation for this movie. This movie is called In the Summers, directed by Alessandro Lacorazza. Whole bunch of, well, I'll describe why there's a whole bunch of actors in this movie. But one of the main roles is Vincente, played by Residente. And I was like, immediately when I looked up the cast list, I'm like, Residente? Why is the person just named Residente? I might have this wrong because I didn't go back and search it up, but Residente is a hip hop rap artist. I want to say from Puerto Rico. I could be wrong, but apparently not really known for acting too much, but has a kind of a major role in this movie. Basic concept of this movie is it's kind of a movie told in chapters. And as far as the structure goes, and a little bit of themes, as far as the structure goes, Moonlight is a great comparison. Because if you know Moonlight, you're following that same boy, kind of his discovery of being gay and what it means to be a black gay man living in the world, all that stuff, right? Great, fantastic movie, obviously. And how that movie would have a whole sequence and then jump forward a few years to have a whole other sequence. Well, this movie kind of does that stuff because it starts out and you're at at an airport. Shoot, I don't think I wrote it down. Oh, Las Cruces. Okay, so it starts out. It's like they have a little airport in Las Cruces, and it shows the two girls, the two little girls, probably like I don't know, 8 and 10, something like that age range, and they're waiting at the airport, and their dad comes picks them up. The dad is Vicente, and the two girls are the older girls, Violeta, and the younger girls, Eva. And Violeta and Eva come and meet, and you get the feeling that like it's in the summer, right? So you get the idea it's like in the summer they get to go see their dad, that their parents are split up. They don't really get into huge detail, but the idea is you get the idea he's kind of been out of their lives until about now, about when we first see them. And he's trying to kind of that dad who's been a deadbeat or not really been part of their lives, not been there for them. Maybe he was a drunk, maybe he was into drugs, maybe he got into prison. You know, you're not sure of his whole past. He might have just been not there, but for whatever reason, he's trying to reconnect with them and trying to really be there for him in a way that will make them good, love him again, that kind of thing. That's the feel you get right out the gate. And he's taking them out to his local places. They have a pool place, place to play pool. And it's also basically just a bar, and the bartender knows him pretty well. And it's fine, but, would you take the two little girls there? Probably not, but he's trying to, show him that he's a good dad. And he looks like he's recently got his mother's house. So it has all the trappings of like an older woman's house, not a guy's house. And it's in good, all taken care of. So you get the feeling like maybe she just recently passed and he, maybe inherited that house. So he's trying to do everything he can to make this great place for the kids and to make them kind of reconnect with him. What is really good about the movie, so either you will or not connect with this movie based on a couple things. You're not going to get a huge plotty story. This is a movie about vignettes in time and seeing how time affects the relationship, especially of these three characters. There's other characters too that you keep seeing, but the three main characters, the two daughters, Violeta and Eva, and the dad, Vicente, and you're going to see a few years later, another summer, how they changed when they get there, how they changed by the time they leave from that summer. And if you lock in like I did, it is fantastic. The first of all, I don't know how many different actors they had for the daughters, probably at least 3 sets, and they're all great, and you always know who they are. And they really do differentiate the two daughters. Just once again to say, Violeta's the older. And Violeta's she's a little more askance at the dad. You can tell she's already a little bit like, I'm not picking up what you're putting down, dude. And you have to prove it to me because I already am kind of looking at you sideways, not loving you so much. And you also quickly find out that she is also a little bit of an outsider in the world. I'm not going to tell you why, but that discovery and that journey she goes on is really interesting. But she is also like her father in that she's very scientific minded, and you find out very quickly he's not living that life, but he always had a huge interest in the things like astronomy and science. And even though it looks like his life has kind of gone down a different path, not anything like that, he does have a deep kind of a love and respect for the scientific stuff, which you wouldn't expect when you first see him. And you don't expect really when you see his personality throughout. It doesn't really fit with that. But I love that because that shows some kind of depth to this. Oh, there's a dog back there. Can you see our dog? She's creeping in here. Um, and the younger daughter, Ava, she is definitely wants to please. She wants to love dad. She wants dad to love her. She really wants to have that feeling of connection. You can tell that they're both kind of striving for the same thing, but whether they're going to quite get it is hard to say. And I just love how from summer to summer, the way things change, the way the girls kind of grow up and change, it really shows how you can both escape your family influence if it's not a positive family influence, but how you also kind of crave that approval, and how some things, even negative things, can get almost unconsciously adopted by a family member. It's really complex and it feels very genuine. This has got to be based a lot on someone's real life. I love the way it looks. It's very simple. It's not super flashy, but little things like each chapter is just like a number. It doesn't say the year or anything. It's just a number, but it's one of the summers. And there's like a little, kind of like a still life of just like tchotchkes and stuff from the house. And each time you get a new summer, that little still life is different. Like stuff has been added or taken away, and you start to kind of notice there's a lot of little things in there that kind of play off of stuff you've seen before. And there's a lot of great details. There's some really obvious ones, like they start in the first summer, there's a nice pool out back, and you're going to see how that pool changes over time. That one's the kind of the more obvious change in time. But there's a lot of other really subtle things in the house, places they go, the pool place they go, the woman who's the bartender at the place they go. How does that person continue to change over time? How do just the girls in general change over time? To me, this is a very good family drama, and I will go 4.5 stars on this one as well. So basically a tie. It's just kind of depending on what the mood and what you're looking for between this and Harold Fry. I think Eric would maybe not love this movie so much, but he might surprise you, because I think there's more character stuff going on here than some of the indie movies he doesn't like so much. I'm 90% sure Greg would really like this movie. Anyway, that's my 3 recommendations for this week, or 3 features for this week from the Cinematic. I think you have 3 solid movies, depending on your mood and depending on what you dig and what kind of things kind of grab your eye. I think that In the Summer's Last Straw and The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry are probably 3 movies you've never heard of, and 3 movies that are definitely worth your time.